A welt pocket is an insert pocket with a band of fabric on the outside. You most commonly find them on vests and jackets. I will take you through the steps of sewing a welt pocket on a jacket. On your pattern, you should have a welt pocket placement mark, which looks like this. Make sure you transfer these marks to your fabric pieces. You should also have a pattern piece for the welt, which you need to cut from your fabric, one for each pocket you'll be sewing. I've attached interfacing to the wrong side of my welt fabric piece for extra stabilization. First, I will fold my welt piece in half along the fold line, right sides together. Pin the two short edges together. Stitch each of the short ends at your sewing machine using the seam allowance recommended by your pattern. In my case, I'm doing 5/8 of an inch. Trim your seams, leaving about 1/4 inch past the stitches and clip off the corners, being careful not to cut into your seam. Turn the welt piece right side out and press. On the long edge, sew a basting stitch to hold the raw edges together. I'm doing this at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Cut a piece of interfacing that is larger than the welt pocket mark and apply the interfacing to the wrong side. Use fabric marks or pins to make sure you place it in the right spot. If you're using sew-in interfacing, base the interfacing in place by stitching directly on the welt pattern mark. Pin the welt to the right side of the jacket, matching the circle marks closest to the center front. The folded edge of the welt should be going toward the center front and the raw edge toward the side seam, lining up with the center line. Stitch in place by stitching a line between the two dots. Since I did my basting stitch at this point on my welt, I can do this directly on this previous basting stitch. No stitches should extend past the edge of the welt. Next, we'll be attaching the pocket fabric pieces. You should have 2 for each welt pocket, and these should also have marks on them from the patterns. Place one pocket piece to the welt, right sides together, matching marks and pin. Stitch along the line closest to the center front only. Then fold the top edge past the stitches over the top of the pocket and press. Take the next pocket piece and place it over the same area, right side to right side. This time you'll match the dots on the jacket closest to the side seam with the line on the pocket that's closest to the straight edge. Pin and stitch into place. You will also take the edge of the pocket and fold it back and press. Carefully cut down the center on the cut line of the jacket fabric, but stop about 1/4 inch from the ends and cut diagonally to each circle mark. Pull the pocket pieces to the wrong side of the jacket fabric and press. On the right side of the jacket, the welt should be pressed over so the folded edge is facing the side seam. Edge stitch on the jacket fabric at the welt seam, but move the pocket pieces out of the way so you're only sewing through the seams and not through the pocket. Next, we're going to sew our 2 pocket edges together in order to create the pocket on the inside. When I did my edge stitch here, I had both my pocket pieces going towards the side seam so they'd be out of the way. But now that I'm going to be sewing them together, I want them to both be going towards the center front. I find the easiest way to pin them together is to look at the right side of the jacket. We're going to peel this back and you can see my pockets are right there. I'm actually going to flip it in this direction so it's a little bit easier. And we're going to pin and sew just the pocket edges only. We're not sewing it to our jacket. But I'm going to flip this out of the way. It's a little bit easier to see because we're going to start on this side, and when we cut down the center of the welt, you had the little triangles that pop out. You want that to be on the inside of the jacket because we're actually going to stitch the triangle to our pockets just to kind of hold them into place. You need to check your pattern to see what your seam allowance is going to be. Mine is 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to pin around this whole pocket, and I'm going, for mine's 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to start above the triangle. You don't have to start at the top of this pocket piece because this is just a single piece of pocket. It's just a single layer. But we want to make sure the triangle is attached. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to sew down over on the other side. And the same thing goes for this side where you want to pull out this little triangle. So I'm going to pivot here, sew across, and then stop and do my back stitch above the second triangle on this other side. And again, you're just sewing these pocket edges together with the triangles and not sewing anything to the jacket. So however you have to move all of this out of the way Just to make it easy on yourself, that's what you need to do. Flip the jacket fabric back to the right side and edge stitch the short edges of the welt in place, making sure the pocket is out of the way before sewing. And now you have a functional welt pocket for your jacket. If you have another pocket to do, you can repeat all these steps. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified of our new releases. Also check out ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 450 sewing tutorials. If you would like to directly support us, you can join our YouTube membership and earn some exclusive perks. Thanks for watching!